topics are here, because The View is live. Trump's greatest hits. The wildest moments of the president kicking off his 2020 campaign. At a rally that sounded awfully familiar.
And we are building the wall.
AOC outrage. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez under fire for her controversial comments online.
They are concentration camps.
Plus, Howie Mandel on getting back on the case of Deal or No Deal.
Deal.
And the America's Got Talent moment that had the judges and the audience in tears.
Amazing.
Here come Hot Topics with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
It's Howie here, and I'm wearing these protective lenses in solidarity with Joy, who has been hosting the show with special sunglasses due to a recent procedure. I feel you, Joy. I'm wearing these because I also had a procedure. I had my prostate checked. See you soon.
TV these days. He's the longest-serving judge on America's Got Talent. He's back as the host of Deal or No Deal, and he's joining us at the table right now. Keep your seats, but be enthusiastic. Please welcome Howie Mandel.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I need these to see.
I love them.
Is everything okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah, we're fine now.
I don't know. It just between you have a procedure and you have a heart thing.
We have issues.
Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
I have AFib.
Oh, yes?
Is that what you have?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. I saw her with that this morning. I was like, are you? What?
Yeah, I know. It makes me nervous.
What
I'm a
else?
hypochondriac, so that when I'm sitting next to you, I feel like I'm going to go home with something.
Cataracts are not contagious, and neither is heart disease.
No, I know, but it doesn't mean I won't go home with something.
I know. She worries about Ebola.
I do. It's irrational paranoia about the Ebola virus.
Ebola.
But I grew up when Outbreak was like a really big movie, and like it scared the crap out of me.
And it was big in Arizona? Ebola was...
No, it's irrational.
No?
Anyway, I'm sorry, I have to ask you the question.
So you
anyway,
know.
I
okay.
know.
So I was reading about you last night, and you and your wife have been together for 40 years.
40 years.
You met when you were 12.
No, not so much.
Were you
The beautiful Terry. Pardon me?
were 12?
No, we were not 12.
Oh.
We were not. Yes, it was an arranged marriage.
It said they met
My
when they were
parents
children.
brought her in. We were Hasidic, and my parents had me. They brought her into the house, and they gave me a sheet with one little hole in it, and the rest is all history. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. So,
What's the secret to 40 years?
what's the secret? People always say, Howie, to the same woman. I talked about this. I have a comedy special on demand now, but I talked about... They always say 40 years of marriage is it the same woman. When I married Terry, she liked to party. She liked to have sex all the time. She's not the same woman.
So you're not, so that's what kept it alive, that you changed so much.
Well, that's even last night in my hotel room. The maid calls me, Mr. Mandel, would you like turn-down service? I said, I've been married for 40 years. This is not a service. This is just, thank you.
So we did a hot topic about a man who claimed he only helps around the house to get lucky. He calls it chore play. So if he does the dishes or if he vacuums, she throws him a bone.
I like that.
What do you think? Did
Are you
ever do that?
serious?
Yeah.
No, well,
as if
first of
that's
all, I won't
unusual.
touch anything that's dirty, so, no. Well, if I dust it, will you do it?
Yeah, that's like
No,
that, yeah.
I would not.
No? Like on the lawn. You're on the lawnmower without your shirt. Your wife sees you. It's all sexy.
Gets turned on.
Yeah.
You watch porn, don't you?
He got you. He got you.
Well, isn't it always the gardener, the plumber, somebody
Moving on to the next question. Moving on. What do you think about Gwyneth Paltrow? She actually said that she and her new husband, Brad, they don't live together, and that it's a marriage saver.
Well, you know, to be honest with you, and it kind of harkens back to the first topic, 40 years of marriage. If you asked my wife what makes it work, it's the fact that I'm here with you and she's not. So, but as a comedian, you know, I've been traveling for years and I'm always out.
Right.
And that makes it, I don't know that she could stand me for more than she. I know that I'm trying to get away from myself, let alone my wife so I believe in that. Having separate houses, I did, you know, I'm being a germaphobe, I built a guest house for people in my family who were not feeling well. When they weren't feeling well, I would go to the guest house. So why are you making noises? I'm a germaphobe. I had to stay healthy. They were in another house. So Gwyneth has just taken that. It does make sense, right?
I mean, really.
And if you're in another house, she can't see you doing the chores. But you can tell her you've done chores and then come into her house and have sex.
Yes.
So they told me that they told me backstage that you were in a lot of therapy. I can see why. But,
I am.
But how has it helped you?
I don't know if it's helped me as much as it's made my therapist in a whole different tax bracket. It has moved up. How has it helped me? Every day, I'll be totally honest with you, every day is a battle.
Yeah.
I have, you know, OCD and anxiety and depression.
They have medication for that.
I am medicated as we speak.
You're medicated, okay.
I'm medicated. I talk to people, but mental health is a battle. I don't think there's anybody alive that doesn't need a coping skill. And we all, I don't think that, you know, you don't have to be diagnosed with something, and there are coping skills for staying in a relationship, whatever the workload is, whatever pressures are having. So it's helped me. The fact that I'm here and the fact that I'm functioning and the fact that I'm working is the answer to your question.
You know,
That's how it
they say that the highest functioning person in the family is the one who goes for therapy. The highest functioning.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about it.
My wife is brilliant, and she probably is the highest functioning, and she's not in therapy, though I share what the therapist told me with her, so maybe she is once removed.
Yes. Yeah, that could be.
So this is fantastic. You and your wife were in Las Vegas, and your friend hit it big playing the Deal or No Deal slot machine, which I think that's so crazy. Can you tell everyone how that happened?
That's also on my on-demand special, The Deal or No Deal, which is tonight, the actual show, 9 o'clock on CNBC. You can win $10,000 just by sitting at home and watching. So don't miss it and tweet along with me live. But here's what happened. I don't go out. I'm kind of a recluse.
Yeah.
So this other couple, Louis and Kathy, went down with my wife to the casino. They played she calls me in the room and she goes, you're not going to believe this. They just hit the jackpot on Deal or No Deal. They won $10,000. It's huge, and this is a life-changing amount of money for them. You've got to come down and see this. So I put on my coat and I ran out of the room, and I ran down the hall, and I go down the elevator and across the whole casino. The lights are going off, and they're peeling off $100 bills into Louis' hand and his wife Kathy. They're crying, and it's great. And I walk up to them and I give them a hug, and they're hugging, and I notice all these lights around me, and I look, people are taking pictures, and then I realize they have no idea that these are my friends. They think that if you hit the jackpot on the Deal or No Deal machine, Howie Mandel shows up.
Pretty good.
Amazing.
It is amazing. And I looked at everybody and I went, somebody just hit in Reno, and I ran off, and then you watch the crowd make their way over to the Wheel of Fortune machine to wait past stage.
But you actually do run up to people at casinos.
I do.
You do.
And Dave & Buster's, wherever I see the Deal or No Deal machine.
You do.
Yeah.
We actually have a clip of you doing that.
It's a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Most of the time, that's a funny one, but I'll tell you, I walk up to people and I'll go, like right behind them, I walk up to a lady and I go, you know, take the deal. Take the deal. And she goes, no. I go, just take the deal. I know what I'm doing. And the woman goes, leave me alone. And doesn't even turn and look, and I got a...
Get out of here, Howie Mandel.
punch in the gut. Yeah. Do you think she knew who I was?
Gambling.
But you know, Howie, you have great jobs going on right now. No Deal or No Deal, and then you're back with America's Got Talent. They keep asking you back to do these over and over again. What's the secret of your longevity?
I'll tell you what it
Tell
is.
me.
I am affordable. How much am I getting paid to be here today? No, I don't know. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. I've been on that show for 10 years. It's been on for 14 years.
Yeah.
I think it's relatable. I think it's a great respite where you can just, you know, watch somebody's dreams come true in front of your eyes.
I think that you combine warmth and caring with humor.
Yes.
And that works for you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I do care, and I want everybody, and I feel the same way on Deal or No Deal. I just want, it's really hard for me to host that show because I want to throttle people who tell me they've never owned a home, they don't have insurance, and I go, the banker wants to give you $150,000, and without any thought, they go, no deal. And I go, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Well, you want to say you don't have any money. You came here broke.
I love that. Okay. But that's why I tweet along live tonight at 9 o'clock. Tweet along live and hear what I'm really thinking and what I don't say.
I want to talk to you about an amazing moment of the season. Cody Lee.
Oh my God, makes me cry.
He is an extraordinary
I couldn't handle this.
contestant.
I cried.
He's a blind kid with autism, and he came on, and it was extraordinary to watch the judges, and then to watch what happens when he begins. Take a look.
I'm gonna cry now.
Now, let's get things started.
You know who kicked off his 2020 campaign at a rally in Florida yesterday, and the crowd was fired up for him to dust off some of his greatest hits. Take a look.
That is a lot of fake news back there. That's a lot. We went through the greatest witch hunt in political history. The only collusion was committed by the Democrats, the fake news media, and their operatives, and the people who funded the phony dossier, crooked Hillary Clinton, and the DNC. What did they come up with? No collusion. And we are building the wall. We're going to have over 400 miles of wall built by the end of next year.
Yeah.
So he's fired up the base. It worked for him in 2016. But don't you feel he's going to have to try a little bit harder this time?
But he's like a jukebox, you know, play D3, lock her up. D4, the press is the enemy. I mean, it's like a jukebox. Might as well just get a jukebox.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of crazy.
And why are the people in the audience saying, lie to me, keep it coming? What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
Well, I just, what is Hillary supposed to be doing now?
She's being a grandma.
She's in the woods, like hiking. It's just so bizarre.
She's in the woods.
Actually, she was at the MGM giving a talk, and I know because when I was there, they were talking about it there.
Yeah, she's in Vegas.
Yeah. She's doing her tour, right? I believe with Bill.
So why are you gonna lock up? I mean, she hadn't been around. She hadn't said anything. I mean, it's kind of.
It was just so weird. I thought it was a rerun of a campaign. Like you watched it, I'm like, I saw this already. He has said the same exact thing, and the crowds were really, really into it. So I think if you want 4 more years of the same sort of hatred and vitriol and divisiveness,
Apparently some people do.
Then you will
like
vote for him. But if you look at the stats, listen, 30% of Americans identify as Republicans, 31% identify as Democrats, and 38% identify as independents. And so really, in order to be reelected, he needs to not just be speaking the language of his base, he needs to start talking to those 38% who identify as independents, because I think those are the game changers
But he has
here in this
nothing new to
election. But he
say.
doesn't. opposite.
Nothing
He's
new.
saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I watched it last night because it was on before The Housewives. So for real, it came on right before, and I was like, I might as well watch this first. And there are three things. First of all, the arena was completely packed, and I looked it up afterward, and I don't think so. And
Yes,
I
they
will
had
say,
buses ready for
well,
them.
people were lining up 40 hours prior to the event, so he
Some
still
people.
has.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
some people, yes, but there were people lining up 40 hours.
There's
to the
always
event.
people who would do
but
that.
go
That's
ahead.
what I'm trying
Go
to
ahead,
say.
baby.
I don't know if there are people lining up 40 hours before a lot of Democratic candidates.
Not yet.
Like, okay, but it did happen. It's not fake news.
Yes.
There's still a huge base of his.
Yeah.
And I will say that it did seem like a rerun from times past. It was interesting to me. It was hard for me to watch Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham in there.
Oh, that
and I
was
know
incredible.
Marco Rubio came out this morning saying it's not unusual for me to be supporting, as a senator, to be supporting the president as well. But he was sort of negging Lindsey Graham at the same time. And I even tweeted last night.
Who was doing
the
that?
president was.
Against
Watch the
Lindsey?
rally, yes,
Wow.
please. And he was sort of saying like his poll numbers were so down, and now he's here. And I was like, yes, this is what happens. You have to show up at the rally, and you have to kiss the ring, and you'll be great politically in the Republican Party. And it was just a weird thing for me to watch.
I bet.
As all of you can probably understand.
Lindsey has sold his soul.
Like the transformation's complete. That's what I thought last night. Is that your political transformation is complete
I hope,
into
well,
a
maybe
Trumper.
they'll get voted out.
Well,
But beyond that, don't belittle the crowds. Don't belittle the enthusiasm.
Why,
Democrats still have a lot to come because it's a lot of people still enthusiastic. And I was trying to explain, because one of my producers this morning was saying, why do people love him so much? And I was like, sometimes it's not just that they love Trump so much, it's that they hate the same things Trump hates. That's what's going on
Black
as
people,
well.
you mean, and immigrants?
No, I mean...
Who do they hate? Who do they hate?
You know what, Joy? I really come here every day open-minded, just trying to explain it. And
Okay.
it's not a fun job for
But
me
who
every
do
day.
they hate?
I know you're angry. I
You
get
bet
it
I'm
that you're angry that Trump's president, like a lot of people
I'm angry
are.
about every single
but
thing
I don't
he's doing.
think yelling at me is gonna fix the problem. Okay?
Am I yelling at her?
I just said that it was hard for me
Am I yelling
to
at her?
watch. Yes. I just said it was hard for me to watch Lindsey
in
Graham,
answer
who I
her-
considered an uncle for a long time.
Yeah, but then you're
okay?
talking about the Trump
But I'm
supporters
trying
as if
to
they don't have
explain
Okay,
why
so here's-
2020 is not in the bag
here's-
for you.
But in
It's
answer
not.
to the question, who did they
okay,
hate?
guys, okay. It's a great discussion, and we can go back to it. I just need everybody to take a beat.
But being a sacrificial Republican every day,
Well,
I'm just trying
listen,
to.
here's the thing.
Oh, don't feel bad for me,
here's
bitch. I'm paid to do this. Okay?
Here's the.
Don't feel
All
bad
right,
for me.
Before he headed to
let's not
Florida,
start calling
hold
each
on.
other bitches.
Here,
Let's-
Oh, Joey and I call each other bitch all the time.
We'll be right back.
Let's calm down.
Over the borderline? Did Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez go too far when she posted these controversial comments online?
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border.
Everyone's talking about The View.
5 women are hosting the most politically relevant show on TV.
Yes, people come here because they know folks are watching.
If you're a Republican and you want to make news, come on this show.
Thank you.
I think you guys are incredible.
Where the conversations matter.
I think we can clean this up right now.
I'm sorry she was treated the way she was treated.
You know, I think what she wants you to say is, I'm sorry for the way I treated you, not for the way you were treated.
And that's how The View became the most important political TV show in America.
It is raining candidates here on The View.
I can't tell you how many times I was asked to find a way to get on The View.
That's the view.
That's The View.
On ABN, the hilarious Howie Mandel hits the Hot Topics table.
It's like, hey, welcome back. So you know, sometimes we get spirited on the show. You know, right? We used to say bitch all the time, and it's one of the people that was here, she used to get upset, and then we stopped saying it, and now bitch is creeped in, and they're good with bitch.
So I wrote a book called America, You Sexy Bitch. I love the word bitch. Joy and I call each other a bitch all the time and text each other bitch. I know you're comfortable with it. She knows I'm comfortable with it. I also enjoy fighting with you.
I know.
And she enjoys fighting with me. So I just want everyone to stop stop being so precious about our relationship because it's almost 2020 and women can debate on TV in a spirited way without it being personal. And I know this is a big shock. We get along backstage. And I was just texting you.
But even if it gets vicious, it does get vicious.
I love it. It's like boxing.
Yeah. So we're
12 rounds.
We're both pugilistic, and so it's fine. I'm very straight in what I believe, and so is she. So we're gonna fight.
We also both are true believers.
And I don't care if you call me a bitch.
I don't care either. I would not, and I will say, I would not have said it had I not known that. I didn't know that there was another host here that apparently...
Oh, yes, a little snowflake.
You guys can call me bitch all day long, any day.
And the reason I interjected is because a lot of times some of the viewers...
Well, this probably isn't the show for you if you're offended easily.
They have to watch the talk.
So now that we got all that cleared up with these bitches.
Back to you.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. So people are asking about what this is. This is a monitor to check how many beats. My heartbeats are off, and they're trying to figure out why. I am fine. I'm not sick. Though these women...
We didn't do this to her.
We had to turn the thing down because my heart was like this. No, it wasn't. Anyway, so let's get on because this is, I can't wait to tell you this. Before you know who headed to Florida, he was asked about one of his publicity stunts from 1989. When he called for the death penalty of the 5 young men arrested in the Central Park jogging rape case. They were incarcerated between 6 and 14 years before DNA evidence exonerated them. And the courts awarded them $41 million for this miscarriage of justice. Does he think it's time to maybe offer up an apology? Take a look.
You have people on both sides of that. They admitted their guilt. If you look at Linda Fairstein and if you look at some of the prosecutors, they think that the city should never have settled that case. So we'll leave it at that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. DNA evidence does not lie. It's one of the things that we know. DNA doesn't lie. So regardless of what you thought it was, once you find out that DNA has exonerated them, you don't think you owe them an apology for asking for the death penalty? Had they gotten it, they would not have lived long enough for DNA to exonerate them.
Yeah.
I feel just, you know, there's a lot of things that lie in the world. DNA ain't one of them.
The actual perp confessed.
Confessed,
yes.
And
he had raped another girl that same day in the park.
In jail, correct?
He
confessed to it.
He's a serial rapist, and DNA...
But I don't hear Donald Trump calling for the death penalty for him because he's white, isn't he?
Spanish. He's Hispanic.
Well, he doesn't like them either. But if these kids were... tell the truth now, you guys out there. If these kids were white, would he be calling for the death penalty? Come on. Thank you. Never, never.
You know.
Just like he carried on over the birther that Obama was. It's the same thing. It's like this repetitious publicity against non-whites. That's where he's at. He's a total racist. And then you wonder why I get upset with the Trump supporters. I've been behind this guy.
And you know, anyone that has seen When They See Us, and I hope people will see an incredible story, and I know Raymond Santana and Yusef Salaam, and their lives have been so severely impacted by what happened, all of their lives, and to have the President of the United States double down, triple down, quadruple down on what he has said.
And why is it always on both sides? Like he's Judy Collins or somebody, you know? She's looked at life from both sides.
Well, it is so weird.
He's always about this weighing both sides. When, as you say, DNA, a confession, there are no two sides, okay, Donald?
No.
Well, it is a weird subject for him. He never apologizes for anything, but when you're talking about DNA, evidence and things like that, I think there's a lot of atoning that's going on for how screwed up our legal system was and police were back in the day. I was only 4 when this happened. I grew up in Phoenix, so I only learned about it as an adult. Much like the West Memphis 3, there were a lot of people put in jail because of race, because of poverty, under circumstances that they have now, because thank God for DNA evidence, we have come to know the truth. It would be refreshing if he actually, be one of those things I think would surprise
if he would
the people.
apologize?
If you'd say, you know what, I screwed up and Whoopi's right, new DNA evidence, and we should explore this in a tone, but he can't, and these are one of the reasons why it makes people like Joy so upset, which I understand.
And it's a problem that continues in the criminal justice system.
Yes.
It's a problem
the criminal
that continues.
justice system that he says he wants to reform.
Yeah.
He says he wants to reform the system. So here's
and Kim Kardashian, maybe this is, you have her as ear. I mean, she's a criminal justice reform, going to the White House, making arguments about this. Maybe she should have a conversation with him about this.
Well, somebody should say, hey, this is part of that reform. See, because if you gave folks the money in every state in the union so that they could clear out the people who are not guilty and put the people who are guilty away, that would be something that would be helpful and might even, my God, get more black people or Latin people or even more white people to vote for you. But you're not going to do that, so let me wake up. We'll be right back. For presence on social media, so a lot of people are strongly advising against posting videos like the one that she did last night. Take a look.
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border, and that is exactly what they are. They are concentration camps. The fact that concentration camps are now an institutionalized practice in the home of the free is extraordinarily disturbing.
She didn't think the term concentration camps was going to be an issue for some folks, I guess.
Well, she probably was referring to the definition, which is a place where large numbers of people, political prisoners, or members of persecuted minorities are imprisoned in a relatively small area with inadequate facilities. That's what it means. So the Jewish community, some, not Nadler, took offense because it's immediately associated with the Holocaust. But my feeling about her, and a lot of times she uses hyperbole, and in this case I think she went there because I get upset about what they're doing to these children, and no one's listening, and it's like, this is a way of getting people to listen to it and pay attention to it. And so that's what I think she did, you know, and
I agree with that sentiment, Joy. For me, I don't like anything compared to the Holocaust because that is, I just don't think you do that. That is a unique, terrible experience where 6 million Jews, I think more than that.
Yeah, other people, homosexuals, gypsies, there were many people.
It's a genocide, and nothing can compare to that experience. So
I don't think you compare
it.
You don't compare it to the Holocaust, but why can't you compare it, his practices, to what led up to the Holocaust? Do we have to wait for the actual Holocaust before we speak out?
Well, I don't think you... Well, I don't think you can compare it, but I think there's a difference between a concentration camp and a death camp. I think that the Germans, and Hitler in particular, elevated what was a traditional concentration camp to a death camp. Concentration camps were used 40 years before the Nazis used them, let's face it. And we have used concentration camps here. We've used them with the Japanese Americans. We've used them with Native Americans.
They call them internment camps.
Those were internment camps.
But they used them in Cuba.
Yeah.
George Takei was in an internment camp. He said even when they were held prisoner in these internment camps, he was never taken away from his parents. Yeah. This is almost worse than it was.
I'm not saying that what's going on at the border with family separation isn't horrific. It is. Yeah. But I do think that there is a big difference between being rounded up by Nazis for the intention of being exterminated is a huge difference. And I will say, you have the Auschwitz Museum coming out and condemning this. You have the Jewish Community Relations Council calling this deeply disturbed by the language and urge her to refrain from making the comparison. I, too, agree that you cannot compare anything to the Holocaust. 6 million plus people were exterminated. I understand everyone's emotion, but I think part of the problem for me, when you automatically call President Trump Hitler and you compare anything to the Holocaust, I start tuning out because it's too much hyperbole. And I think we should have rational, calm conversations about how horrific it is. We all work together every day. Our producers' emotions are high, the hosts' emotions are high, Americans' emotions are high. When you start talking about the Holocaust, when there are real Holocaust survivors here right now saying it is nothing like what happened then, I think that is the problem. And I think specifically with her, when she's doing it on her Instagram story live, which I understand that's how the kids do it. I'm sort of borderlining on still being a kid, even though I'm 34. But I do think when you're talking about something this serious, do it in a platform that is more serious.
But did you hear what I said? We're really comparing
I heard you.
The trajectory towards. We're not comparing it to that.
I mean, but we are not exterminating people.
Not yet.
No, we are. I mean, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on with that.
I mean, Megan and
A lot of kids died at that border.
Megan and I don't agree
I'm
on
not saying
anything,
it's
but
horrific.
we agree on this. I think she went too far comparing what is happening on the border, which we all know is despicable.
And you have Jewish family.
My grandfather's Jewish, so yes, maybe I take this personally, but she went too far. But I will say there have been Holocaust survivors that have also come out in support. He's a reporter, but he said, he tweeted out that the director of the Oregon Jewish Museum and Center for Holocaust Education said that for those criticizing AOC's remarks on U.S. concentration camps, this sworn court declaration from last year is from the director of that organization, and she shares the fears of survivors and testimony.
We can be anecdotal all day long. I mean, Congressman Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey, who has family members in the Holocaust, came out and condemned this.
Well, here's the thing.
So there are people.
We've been going through this for the last couple of years with this one in the White House, and I'm sure it's not going to stop because some stuff compares in people's minds, and we know that that's crazy. You know, but right now we're going to take a turn because we're doing today's Pride Month FYI, which honors a trailblazer who ignited a pop culture revolution. He is called the grandfather of Vogue. His name is Willie Ninja. He was born William Leake in Queens in New York in 1961. He started dancing at age 7, and by the 80s, he was the one to watch from Greenwich Village parks to drag balls in Harlem. Inspired by the swift moves of martial arts, Ninja's voguing made him a New York celebrity. And after appearing in the award 5, but this forefather of ballroom culture is celebrated to this day in hit shows like Pose and on dance floors around the world. This man was an amazing cat, and I'm so glad that we are honoring him. So we'll be right back.